Let's dive into some Islamic theology. We've got excerpts from Gabriel and Michael by Dr. Khalid Walid.
Oh yeah, this author's got some interesting interpretations.
Definitely unique. We're looking at Gabriel and Michael, but not how you'd usually think of them.
Not at all.
He even suggests Michael is female, tied to the concept of the soul.
That's one of the big ones.
So let's explore these ideas, how they connect to the Quran, and what makes this interpretation so different.
What's fascinating is Dr. Walid doesn't just offer different readings. He claims these are hidden truths.
Yeah, right from the start, he criticizes those common Quran translations.
Right.
Saying they miss important things, like the difference between al-nafs, the soul, and al-ruh, the spirit. What's the significance of that?
It's huge for his whole argument. He says many translations mix them up, creating confusion about what they really are.
Okay.
He's adamant that the spirit al-ruh is pure, connected to divine knowledge, essentially the life force in us. He even describes it as pulsating with divine light. The soul, al-nafs, is more about our earthly existence, shaping our actions and choices.
So it's not just wording, it changes how we see ourselves in the big picture.
Absolutely. And this leads right into his views on Gabriel and Michael. He says understanding that difference unlocks a deeper meaning in those Quranic verses about them.
And this is where it gets really interesting. He paints Gabriel as this incredibly powerful figure, responsible for the spiritual message across multiple universes, not just ours.
He really does. He uses specific Quranic verses emphasizing Gabriel's power and closeness to God.
Like which ones?
Well, there's one describing Gabriel as honored messenger, mighty, and possessing power with the Lord of the throne. For Dr. Walid, this points to an authority beyond our world, a role in a much bigger cosmic order.
But here's where I got confused. He says Israel, the prophet, is actually Gabriel's enemy.
That's a tricky one.
And he's not talking about Jacob, but a figure from before Adam.
Right, he's not talking about Jacob like we know him. This is a primordial being, also named Israel, who existed before Adam. According to Dr. Walid, this Israel was a prophet who failed, led people astray, and his legacy continues to harm the world.
So that's where Gog and Magog come in.
Yeah, he identifies them as the children of Israel, descendants of this primordial figure.
I see.
He blames a lot of the world's corruption, societal issues on their influence. He believes their actions have echoed through history, causing suffering and division.
So we're not just talking about individuals, but whole lineages and their impact on history.
Exactly. Dr. Walid sees the struggle between good and evil, purity and corruption, playing out on a huge scale throughout history. And he uses these figures, Gabriel, Michael, Israel, Gog, and Magog, to illustrate the forces at work.
It's definitely a different way of looking at things. I'm already questioning some of my own assumptions.
That's the power of these kinds of ideas. They make us step outside our comfort zone and re-examine how we understand the world.
Right, and we're just getting started with Dr. Walid's perspective.
Okay, are you ready for this? Dr. Walid says Michael is female.
Yeah, that one really surprised me. It's not how Michael's usually portrayed at all. How does he explain that?
He goes deep into the language of the Quran, looking at the word wokal bekum, which is in a verse about the angel of death. He points out that this phrase, meaning the custodian of your souls, sounds a lot like the Arabic name Mikal or Michael.
So he's linking them through sound and meaning.
Exactly. He argues that this connection, along with other verses, reveals a hidden truth about Michael's gender. And it gets even more interesting. He proposes that Michael is not only female, but also Gabriel's wife.
Wow, that changes their relationship completely.
Definitely. Dr. Walid focuses on the duality in their roles. Gabriel with life, energy, and the spirit. Michael with death, matter, and the soul. He sees them as embodying the fundamental forces of existence.
It's like this cosmic dance between creation and destruction, life and death.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And this duality ties into his ideas about how souls are managed, which are, well, pretty unique.
You're telling me he says souls are actually stored in the earth while spirits are in the heavens? That's a new one for me.
It's a pretty wild idea. He connects it to the Quranic verse about Allah taking souls at the time of death. He interprets this to mean that souls go back to the earth after death, overseen by Michael, but the spirits are kept in the heavens, watched over by Gabriel.
He even brings in sleep into all of this.
I know, right? He suggests that when we sleep, our spirits leave our bodies for a bit and go to the heavens where Gabriel keeps track of what we've done. He calls it a daily data dump, which I kind of like.
Definitely a memorable image. Does he see all souls as the same, though?
Not at all. He describes three types. First, the pure created souls of Arab beings, which he connects with righteousness and a natural inclination towards enlightenment.
Then the corrupt souls of Gog and Magog, the descendants of that first Israel we talked about.
Right. He says these souls tend towards evil and corrupt humanity. And finally, he mentions the hypocritical Arab souls.
So those are the ones in between, right? Descendants of both Arabs and Gog.
Exactly. He says they don't have the inherent peace of the pure souls and struggle with the bad influence from their Gog side. It goes back to his point about the children of Israel sneaking into and subtly changing Islamic thought over time.
It's not just about individual souls then, it's about lineages and how they affect history.
Exactly. Dr. Walid sees this battle of good and evil, purity and corruption as this huge drama playing out across generations. And it's through this lens that he interprets the importance of Baka Jerusalem.
Yeah, Baka Jerusalem. He seems to think it's hugely important. What's the deal with that?
Baka Jerusalem, which he calls the true Qibla, is central to his whole worldview. He keeps stressing that it's the only truly important religious center and that other sacred sites aren't valid.
And he ties it to Abraham too, right?
He does. He believes Baka Jerusalem is where Abraham started the original, pure faith, which unfortunately has been distorted over time. He wants people to go back to this original center, both physically and spiritually. He even says true Muslims should pray towards Baka Jerusalem, not Mecca or anywhere else.
This is some seriously heavy stuff. It makes you wonder if we've been misinterpreting ancient texts for centuries. Maybe there are hidden meanings we've missed.
That's what's so cool about looking at these different interpretations. It makes us question what we think we know and explore new possibilities, even if we don't agree with everything.
It's definitely been eye-opening so far. And we still have so much more to talk about.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Gabriel. Dr. Walid paints him as this, the Lord of the obedient universe. And we're not just talking about delivering messages here. It's about, organizing the cosmos, multiple universes even.
Whoa, multiple universes. That's a pretty big job.
Right. He's basically the architect, the grand organizer of the spiritual side of things, making sure everything runs smoothly, transmitting Allah's message.
Okay, so he's like the cosmic project manager. But if he's all about upholding this divine order, then who's, causing problems?
Well, this is where things get a little controversial. Dr. Walid claims the children of Israel, he's not talking about Jacob here, but a prophet who he claims actually predates Adam, they deeply resent Gabriel.
Wait, so there's a whole backstory we're missing.
According to Dr. Walid, yeah. And it all goes back to Gabriel's purification of this place called Baka Jerusalem, which he believes is present-day Jerusalem. And this ties into another pretty bold claim that Baka Jerusalem, not the Kaaba in Mecca, is the true Qibla.
Okay, now remind me, the Qibla is the direction Muslims face when praying.
Right. Exactly. So he's suggesting a completely different focal point for worship. And he even says that angels descend to Baka Jerusalem to evaluate whether people are worthy of paradise or hellfire.
Wow, that's definitely going against the grain there. But before we get into all of that, let's hear more about Michael's role in all of this, because Dr. Walid has some pretty interesting things to say about her too. So we've got Gabriel as this cosmic architect organizing the spiritual side of things. But what about Michael? Where does he fit in all of this?
Well, get ready for this, because Dr. Walid claims Michael is actually female.
Hold on, the angel of death is female. That's not what I was expecting.
It's definitely a less common understanding, but he makes this argument based on Arabic grammar and how the words sound. He points to this Quran verse that describes the angel of death as being, entrusted with souls, using the Arabic word wokombum. And he argues that wokal not only means entrusted, but it sounds a lot like Mikal, the Arabic name for Michael.
So he's drawing a connection between the name Michael and this responsibility for souls. That's an interesting interpretation. But if Michael is associated with death, where does that leave her in relation to Gabriel, who seems to be all about life and energy?
Well, that's where this idea of duality comes in again. Dr. Walid portrays Gabriel and Michael as two sides of the same coin, like yin and yang, light and dark, or in this case, spirit and matter. Okay,
so we have Gabriel overseeing the spirit, that life force, and then Michael is responsible for the soul, which he links to the physical realm. Is that how Dr. Walid sees it?
Exactly. Gabriel transmits Allah's spiritual message while Michael manages souls, connecting them with bodies and guiding them at death. It's this intricate dance between the two.
Definitely makes you think about those, traditional depictions of these archangels in a whole new light. But if the children of Israel have this animosity towards Gabriel, what about Michael? Do they have a problem with her as well?
Well, that's not explicitly stated, but remember how Dr. Walid claims that Baka, Jerusalem, is the true religious center. He also argues that all 24 prophets from Adam to Muhammad came from Adam's lineage, not from the lineage of the children of Israel.
So he's making this distinction between those two lineages, almost like, two different forces in this cosmic narrative.
Yeah, and it connects to his argument about the children of Israel introducing what he calls Talmudic influences into Christianity and Islam. He even names specific figures like Paul of Tarsus in Christianity and Ka'b al-Ahbar in early Islam.
Now, for those of us who aren't familiar with those names, can you explain what he means by Talmudic?
Sure. So he's referring to the Talmud, which is a central text in rabbinic Judaism. Essentially, he's accusing these figures of incorporating Jewish ideas into Christianity and Islam, which he views as like a corruption of the original message.
It's a pretty bold accusation. So it seems like Dr. Walid is painting a very specific picture here, with Gabriel and Michael on one side upholding this divine order, and the children of Israel on the other, introducing these elements that he sees as, disruptive.
That's one way to interpret it. It's almost like he's framing it as this struggle between these opposing forces. And if that's the case, then you have to wonder who or what else might be caught in the, the crossfire.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, luckily we have one more part to this deep dive. So let's see where Dr. Walid takes us next. All right, so you've been teasing this, this other player in this whole cosmic drama. Who is this enemy of Gabriel?
Well, it's another prophet, but not one you're going to find in traditional Islamic texts. It's a prophet named Israel.
A prophet named Israel, and he's like the enemy here.
Yeah, Dr. Walid says he actually predates Adam.
So there was somebody, like, even before Adam. I mean, that's pretty radical, right?
It's definitely not a mainstream idea, but he suggests that this prophet, Israel, was the original inhabitant of Baka, Jerusalem, and that basically Gabriel's support for Adam led to, Israel's downfall.
Oh, I see. So it's like this this changing of the guard almost. Adam steps into the role of humanity's leader, and that creates this conflict with like the old guard represented by Israel.
Yeah, you could see it that way. And it ties into this idea that Gabriel is this champion for Adam and his descendants, who Dr. Walid calls the pure Arabs. He sees them as the true inheritors of the divine message.
And that connects back to his whole claim about Baka, Jerusalem being the true holy site. He's like rewriting the whole narrative of where religious authority comes from.
Exactly. And remember, he claims that all 24 prophets from Adam to Muhammad descended from Adam, not from the children of Israel. He's drawing a very deliberate line between these two lineages.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different way of looking at things. It makes you think about how even within a well-established faith, you can have these like radically different interpretations of key figures and events.
Absolutely. And it highlights the importance of, engaging with these texts critically and being open to different viewpoints. Whether or not you agree with Dr. Walid, he forces us to ask deeper questions about the stories we've been told and the assumptions we hold.
It's like taking a puzzle, one that you think and then suddenly rearranging all the pieces to see a completely different picture. It can be challenging, but it's also incredibly thought-provoking.
And that's what it's all about, right? Expanding our understanding and considering new possibilities. So I'll leave you with this. If this interpretation of Gabriel and Michael, with Michael as the female angel of death and Gabriel as this champion of Adam, if that were widely accepted, how would that change how we understand not just religious history, but also, life, death, the whole relationship between the physical and spiritual realms?
That's a really big question. Lots to think about there. Well, thanks for taking us on this deep dive. It's been definitely a fascinating journey. And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop seeking knowledge. We'll see you next time.